The meeting to order. We have the flag salute by Supervisor KOSMICKI.
Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, can we get acknowledgement of the certificate of posting?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, 4-0. Okay, and we have a presentation this morning, correct? Supervisor Tiffany?
Okay.
So we have a presentation, proclamation declaring the month of October as the 21st Annual Binational Health Week in San Benito County.
I don't know if there's a whole room full of people. Welcome. So this is, I won't read everything, but this is a proclamation for the Binational Health Week 2021. Whereas the Secretariats of Health and of Foreign Affairs of Mexico, the Ministries of Foreign Affairs of Guatemala, Honduras, Colombia, and Peru, the United States, Mexico Border Health Commission, and the Health Initiative of the Americas, a program of the University of California at Berkeley School of Public Health, have recognized the necessity of improving access to health services for the underserved Latino population in the United States of America. And whereas, according to the United States Census in 2017, this country is home to more than 57 million people of Latino origin. And improving the health of mobile population requires multiple approaches in service design, delivery, funding priorities, and most fundamentally requires strong binational commitment. And I will skip ahead. Whereas Binational Health Week provides an opportunity to highlight critical health issues in the state of California and throughout the United States, and will serve as the basis for future bilateral efforts. Be it proclaimed by the Board of Supervisors of San Benito County that in honor of those efforts to improve public health, the month of October 2021 be declared the 21st Annual Binational Health Week throughout San Benito County, California. I'll just make a comment that, particularly dealing with COVID as we have the last couple of years, this has really come, I think, particularly to our attention, the great need to reach the Latino population, the underserved, and I think we've done our best to do that, but it's a continuing challenge to make sure that we're doing that in San Benito County. So I think this is a very important proclamation. So congratulations for the month. Thank you. Is there anyone in particular that I can give this to?
Yeah, I don't know who the certificate goes to. Do you have anyone here to receive it?
We'll bring it back to administration. Bring it back to administration and we'll get that sent out.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So, Madam Clerk, the public comment.
If you'd like to make a comment in chambers, please provide a speaker card. On Zoom, you can press *9 on your phone or the raise your hand icon on your screen. In chambers, we'll start off with Robert Bernowski.
I'm extremely. Is my mic on?
I'm extremely disappointed in the behavior of the County of San Benito, which you are at the top of. You have caused havoc in the lives of people I love and people that I work with to make San Benito County the best it can be. A tragedy occurred last week, and many people I guess you do not know or care about are dealing with it. Your actions exponentially make their job more difficult. What you did was to create a narrative about the tragedy with only the hope that the facts would later line up with your story. 2 times I communicated to you that your facts were wrong. The first time I communicated that simply by asking the question, how does the county know what it says it knows? It would highlight the falsity of your press release. Specifically, you claim that the tragedy was due or related to COVID. You've linked it inappropriately to an activity that happened well in the past of relevance. The havoc this caused was substantial. It caused news trucks to park outside of school, causing a distraction to students. Reporters tied up office staff, proffering lies in order to get into administrative offices when staff needed to be attending students. News reporters interviewed parents with leading questions based on your misleading press release, providing more sensationalization for the 5, 6, and 11 o'clock news 2 days in a row. Fortunately, KSBW listened and apparently did research and corrected their original story, although a lot of damage was already done. However, according to KSBW, the county inexplicably confirmed another incorrect fact about the patient involved, linking her to an event 3 weeks ago. Simultaneously, one of you went on TV and made disparaging, misleading comments about the entity involved. I again contacted you, but you were unmoved. The county was not wavering from its initial position, no matter what the facts were. I can no longer trust the county of San Benito, and that hurts for me to say. You are not governing and managing. You are being 100% political. Whatever you say cannot be trusted. Thank you.
Next, we have Christina Chavez.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Board of Supervisors. My name is Christina Chavez. I was born and raised in Hollister and have been a loyal county employee for the past 5 years. I'm an auditor appraiser with the assessor's office, which means I assess and value business personal property, and I audit businesses in the county to ensure proper valuation is in place and therefore being appropriately taxed upon. I come to speak to you today regarding the issues of recruitment and retention, which we know are the 2 biggest issues the county faces today. I know that in my department, several people chose to retire once the pandemic hit. Since then, we have lost a few additional positions in just the past couple of months. And when people do leave, they usually cite the wages and high costs in healthcare as being the leading factors of choosing to work elsewhere. As mentioned in previous Board of Supervisor meetings, the employment vacancy rate is over 20%, which is a very big problem and needs to be addressed. Having such a high vacancy rate means your staff, which are myself and my colleagues, are understaffed and overworked. The only way that this problem can be resolved is by focusing on recruitment and retention efforts. You, the Board of Supervisors, have an opportunity to collaborate with SEIU Local 521 and help find solutions to these issues. Increasing wages to be more comparable to the market will help attract potential employees. Increased wages will retain your current employees and will also acknowledge the health and safety risks we took to loyally work through this pandemic and protect our community. Providing unique benefits such as a holiday closure, providing a hazard pay, and really considering expanding longevity are great incentive efforts that can be provided. By addressing recruitment and retention, doing so will not only improve our working conditions, but will also allow us to better serve the community. Thank you.
Regina Valentine.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. My name is Regina Valentine, and I'm a 3rd-generation resident, master's degree holder from San Jose State, county employee overseeing our public transit, ensuring access to vital services such as medical care, and proud member of the SAU 521 bargaining team, representing my colleagues and and their families. I wanted to speak to you today to highlight the ongoing recruitment and retention issue you're aware of with our over 20% budgeted vacancy, position vacancy that's been exacerbated by the pandemic. In my department, public transit, we have had the position of our singular mechanic vacant for a year, which was filled by a previous person for 9 months who regularly would complain to me about how expensive it is to provide health care for his family. Although our recruitment and retention issue is ongoing, thankfully you have the power to ensure proper staffing to provide essential services by offering benefits that both attract and keep quality staff here serving the community. Last year, when the class and comp study was completed, the majority of us did not see any adjustments. Even those classifications that were brought up were only done to 10% below market. In closing, thank you for the opportunity to speak, and we appreciate the collaboration in providing quality service to the community. Thank you.
Veronica Lezama.
Good morning, Madam Chair Gonzalez and members of the board. Veronica Lezama, San Benito SEIU Chapter President. We're here this morning representing over 260 San Benito County employees. During the last several weeks, our bargaining team has been hard at work negotiating with our county, and our proposal reflects the values of our members. We ask that the county recognize the values that our employees bring to the community by offering a thoughtful and fair, reasonable contract. Our county employees are working harder than ever, as noted, not only during a pandemic, but also operating at as the county operates at a 25% budget vacancy. During these challenging times, our county employees have stepped up with no additional compensation or support. This is the opportune time to show your county employees what they mean to you as they serve the community they care so much about. Thank you for your time.
Belen Martinez.
Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es Belén Martínez. Soy un orgulloso miembro de SEIU 2015. He sido proveedora por 34 años.
Hi, good morning. My name is Belen Martinez. I'm a proud member of SEIU Local 2015, and I've been a home care provider for 34 years.
Este trabajo es muy difícil y estresante. A causa de este trabajo, yo y otros proveedores necesitamos salud médica.
This job is very difficult and very stressful. It causes myself and other providers to need health insurance.
Que no tenemos para poder seguir trabajando como proveedores en casa.
Which right now we don't have to continue to work as home care providers in the home.
Así es que, por favor, ustedes como supervisores nos escuchen y nos apoyen en darnos salud médica.
So please, we're asking the supervisors to hear us and to support us and to give us health insurance and a living wage.
Nosotros, el pueblo, les dimos nuestro voto para que ustedes estén en esa silla.
Us, the community, gave us your vote so that you all could be in the position that you're in right now.
Ahora nosotros necesitamos de ustedes apoyo y voto para un contrato justo.
Now we need your support and your vote to get a just contract.
Nosotros somos trabajadores esenciales, merecemos respeto, merecemos un salario justo, merecemos aseguranza. Eso es lo básico que un trabajador necesita para poder seguir trabajando. Gracias.
We are essential workers. We deserve a fair wage. We deserve health benefits. This is just the bare essential that you need to be in a just work environment. Thank you for your time.
María Elena Pérez Gallegos.
Mi nombre es María Elena Pérez Gallegos.
Hi, my name is María Elena Pérez Gallegos.
Y yo quisiera que nos dieran lo justo, que es una cobertura médica, porque a veces que no tenemos ni para ir al doctor y el costo de la vida es muy caro aquí.
What we're here asking for is for just wages and for medical coverage.
De lo que yo les pido, por favor.
This is what I'm asking for you, please.
Y a todos mis compañeros.
And from all of our co-workers.
Porque es un trabajo muy estresante.
Because this is a very stressful job.
Y no tener cobertura médica no podemos ir ni al doctor.
And not having medical coverage, we can't even go to the doctor.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Julie Rocha.
Good morning, Madam and Board of Supervisors. My name is Julie Rocha. I am a local Hollister resident, a IHSS provider for my daughter. She's 21 years old. following a motor vehicle accident, is now living with a TBI. I am also a member of SEIU 2015, and I come to express on behalf of myself as her provider and my fellow coworkers as other providers who may one day take over for me and care for my daughter, and express to you all how important it is for us to have that health care insurance. Biggest fear of mine is what would my daughter do? Who would care for my daughter if something happened to me health-wise? Who would take over and care for my daughter? So I speak on behalf of future care givers that, that they be valued for the work that they do. That is valuable care provided to my daughter. It is not by choice that she is no longer dependent of herself or independent and has to depend on a caregiver. So it is important to us that we get a livable wage. It is important to us that we have that health care. I resigned from my full-time career to care for my daughter. This could happen to anyone. I no longer have that health care insurance. So it is important that we have that, and if you would please consider that in the negotiations. Thank you for your time.
Ana Rosa Heredia.
Good morning. My name is Ana Rosa Heredia. I'm working for IHHSS. La razón por la cual me presento hoy es para pedirle que consideren fondos.
The reason I'm here today is that for you all to consider funds
Para el programa para mejorar salarios y proveer seguro de salud para el cuidado que proveemos.
for the program to get better wages and to provide health care in this work that we do.
El trabajo fue considerado esencial y sigue siendo esencial durante la pandemia.
This work was considered essential and it continues to be essential during the pandemic.
Por eso yo creo que ya es justo que consideren realmente con hechos.
That's why I believe that it is just that you consider what we're saying.
Me gustaría realmente que pensaran un momento sobre si ustedes o algún miembro de su familia necesitaran el cuidado para alguno de sus familiares.
I would like for you all to take a moment to consider the situation if you all were in this position where you had to take care of a family member.
Y no tuvieran los medios para pagar y necesitaran uno de los proveedores.
And you didn't have the means to pay for anything.
Pero este proveedor negaría este servicio ya que este programa no paga lo suficiente para poder sobrevivir en este condado o que sabemos que es muy caro.
This provider in this situation would not want to do this work because they would not be able to afford anything to survive.
Sabemos que la inflación de los costos de vivienda está en descontrol total para la mayoría.
We know that inflation is raising the costs of everything out of control for the majority of people.
La mayoría de personas tenemos que pensar entre pagar nuestras rentas para vivir en un hogar digno o llevar comida a nuestras casas.
The majority of people have to consider whether they're going to be using their money to pay for rent or if they're going to be using it to pay for food.
Por favor, ya no es justo. Necesitamos, por favor, una negociación de nuestros contratos pensando humanamente en la calidad de vida que tenemos que tener.
Please, this is not just anymore. We need you to consider in contract negotiations what we need. So please take this into account, better wages and health insurance.
La última cosa, soy proveedora de mi hija, es pequeña. No es fácil, como dijo una compañera, estar emocionalmente bien y pensar en que si nos enfermamos o en nuestro futuro, ¿qué va a pasar de nosotros?
So I take care of my daughter, and like a coworker of ours said, it is not easy, and
¿Qué va a pasar con nuestra salud?
it's not always easy, especially when we have to think about what might happen to our own health.
So please, and thank you for hearing me. My English not good, but I try. Please consider this for the program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gabriela Cordero.
todos. Mi nombre es Gabriela Cordero.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Gabriela Cordero.
Me moví del condado de Santa Cruz hace 2 años con 8 meses con la ilusión de vivir en una casa grande, de poder ahorrar dinero, pero fue completamente lo contrario.
I moved from the county of Santa Cruz a couple of years ago with the illusions of being able to buy a home and to be able to have a place more affordable.
Aquí todo es más caro que en el condado de Santa Cruz y la pandemia ha venido a hacer todo más caro, más difícil para nuestros clientes, para nosotros mismos.
Things ended up being more expensive here for me than in Santa Cruz, and throughout this pandemic, things have only gotten even more expensive.
Y creo que nuestros clientes merecen vivir en un lugar confortable, limpio, seguro, y necesitamos su apoyo.
And we believe that our clients deserve to live in a place that's comfortable, that's clean, that's healthy, and we need your support from you
Para mejorar los salarios y el seguro médico.
to better the wages and the health insurance.
Gracias y que pasen buen día.
Thank you and have a great day.
Elia Salinas.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Supervisors. I want to bring to the attention, I know that you already probably have seen it, but there's the water runoff issue at Mansfield and Fairview Road that's being caused by the construction site over at the Santana Ranch. It's been an issue for a few years, and I know that when Supervisor Mark Medina left, there had been some promises made by the county, and he's no longer here, so that has fallen through the cracks, and I would like someone to pick up that issue to help those residents out there. Also, I have been coming here for years, and I have spoken that these county employees should get a prevailing wage, and I know that there was a salary study done, and I don't know where that sits with regards to what they're trying to do. Do they fall under the study and now they want additional? I don't know. But what I can say is the SEIU is a very powerful union. They donated $6.6 million to the recall against the recall for Governor Newsom. I know that California insures people who don't have insurance under their employment. And what I'm trying to say is that the SEIU is a very, very well-funded union, and I would hope that the locals would turn to their union for help. If they're not being covered by the county, then maybe the union should cover it, because I know other unions do it. And that being said, I am very pro-union, but also as a very well-funded union across the state and wherever else it is. Recently, just early this month, the president of SEIU, Alma Hernandez, was arrested for fraud for taking money from the SEIU. So I think these folks need to gather together and power within themselves to see what they can do against the union that's not representing them correctly. Thank you.
Thank you.
On Zoom, if you'd like to make a comment, please press *9 or the raise your hand icon on your screen. You've been unmuted. Please state your name, district, and you have 2 minutes.
Good morning, Chairwoman and Board of Supervisors. My name is Wendy Solorio. I am a lifelong resident of San Benito County, and I'm also a almost 14-year employee of the County of San Benito. I'm speaking to you today, and I'm urging you to direct the bargaining unit that's representing the county to enter into a fair contract with SEIU 521. I am currently a child support supervisor at the Department of Child Support Services. I'm committed to my community, I'm committed to my staff, and I'm committed to the County of San Benito. This pandemic has been a big burden on essential employees who stepped up daily, regardless of what was going on at home, to serve our community, most of which is the underserved community. In speaking to the vacancy rate in San Benito County, at the last meeting, it was said that our department had 13 positions, 3 vacant, which was 10 employees, and it was commented that that was good because we're an important department. I'm going to tell you that that's 24% vacancy rate in the Department of Child Support Services. I have continuously, as well as my staff, taken on additional responsibilities. I currently cover 3 full-time positions in just my role as supervisor. When I started back in 2008, we had 25 plus employees, none of which we have been able to keep or retain. I am the lowest senior position in the Department of Child Support Services. I urge you to examine all of the records that we provide. We also put money back into the county budget via our collections. This was very stressful for our families in the community when the pandemic hit, losing their jobs, not knowing how they're going to eat. We worked relentlessly.
You've been unmuted. Please state your name, your district, and you have 2 minutes.
My name is Raymond Garcia. I'm an HHSA. Good morning, chair, members of the board. I'm a 5-year resident and property owner here in San Benito County. I have a bachelor's degree from San Jose State in business, a wife and 2 children, one of who is disabled. I'm an eligibility specialist 3 and have been employed here at the county for over 3 years. I take great pride in being able to guide people in the community through the process of receiving benefits for themselves and their families. As an SEIU member, I wanted to speak to you today to highlight an ongoing recruitment and retention issues we are aware of that have been exacerbated by the pandemic. In my department, high levels of turnover are the norm, causing extreme pressure and stress to those who choose to stay and continue to work. Recruitment and retention is an ongoing issue. Thankfully, you have the power to correct it by providing benefits that both attract and keep your quality staff here serving the community. By increasing pay to keep up with the cost of living and health insurance, increasing longevity to incentivize those who have trained to stay, and providing paid time off during the holidays so that we can spend time with our families. In closing, I thank you for consideration and appreciate the partnership is providing quality service to our community. Thank you.
You've been unmuted. Please state your name and your district, and you have 2 minutes.
Good morning. My name is Estrella Esparza Johnson. I am a resident of San Juan Bautista and resident of District 2. I come before you, good morning, Chairwoman and fellow supervisors. I am a proud mother, wife, artist, IHSS caregiver, and SEIU local member. I come before you today to express my thoughts on the ongoing negotiations between the county and our union for our contract. I want to make sure that you know some details that I think are incredibly important. Me and my fellow caregivers, as many have said so eloquently, I want you to know that we work. This is our job. This is our profession. This is our career. We are not asking for something that we don't work for. It is very important that as our society continues to age and as more people get identified as needing assistance, that the people that are caring for them are of the best quality. This means that they need their mental health taken care of and their physical health taken care of. And they need to know that when they are done with their years of service, that they will be able to be taken care of themselves. This is really, really important also for where the county is budget-wise right now, because studies have shown that when workers receive this kind of support, workers' health improves, worker productivity increases, absenteeism is reduced, and so is turnover. Human resources are truly, as the pandemic has showed us, some of the most precious and important of our society. Please take into consideration that a society may best be measured by how it treats those who are least able to care for themselves. As such, please consider our value as those who step into this work to be of service. We are always and we remain public servants, taking care of those.
Please state your name and your district, and you have 2 minutes. You've been unmuted. No further comments.
Thank you. Okay, so department head announcements.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning to the board. Yeah, we have some announcements. I'd like to invite up Mike CHAMBLESS, our interim RMA director. He has a quick update for your board.
Good morning. Just wanted to let you know Best Road is complete, open. Best Road is complete and open. There's a couple little bird baths out there that aren't on a punch list, but that one's done. Fairview also is complete and open. And then we have the 5,000 block of Southside, which we're still waiting on guardrail for, so it'll be a few more weeks before we can ramp that one back up and get that finished. I wanted to talk about the parks real quick. Sunnyside Park, we have the draft bubble diagram, the first concept of the park complete. And we're scheduling a public meeting at Vets Hall on November 15th at 6 p.m. to discuss that and get public feedback on that. There will be another meeting scheduled on the weekend. We're working out details to try to find a location. Because the weather changed, we kind of can't do it outside anymore. And then on the regional park, as you're aware, the grants were due next week with the state, but the state moved the field goal posts. So now they're due in January. So I'll be bringing an item to you at the next meeting to discuss what that means to the schedule and to receive direction from you on how you want to proceed. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. We also have another announcement out of our sheriff's office. Sheriff Taylor.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Just a real quick update. We are relaunching what we had started a number of months ago and then put down for a little while. But we're back in cooperation with our private partners in the river area, and we're coordinating a river cleanup, if you will. So we'll come back and report back once we have a date for that, but it'll be the properties from the area of the Hospital Road Bridge all the way out to 156. It'll probably take a few days, but we're going to start and focus our efforts originally with the landowners that are around Hospital Road all the way up to Apricot. If you have any questions, you can get a hold of me or ask me now, and I appreciate your time. Thanks.
I know that's been an ongoing concern for the supervisors.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you to the sheriff. This is something that I've really strongly supported, getting this riverbed cleaned up since the spring, and so I really appreciate it. And if you do by chance need any help, I know this is a security sort of thing, but if you need any help, I would be glad to come down and help. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Supervisor.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank the sheriff as well. It is a big issue. Look, quick question. Are you, and maybe you mentioned this, are you coordinating this? I know the city of Hollister has been doing some work as well. I'm just curious, is there coordination there?
Yeah, just for clarification, the city did reach out to our office when they did their most recent cleanup effort. I don't think that they really moved any encampments down there, but that is a benefit for us to have Mike CHAMBLESS aboard now to really help walk us through some of the nuances of the public and private property issues and storage issues and how we can move people along. But so to get started, we are just working with private landowners. That's the, for lack of a better term, that's the easiest or the lowest hanging fruit to go after first, because it's actually the landowners that are doing the cleanup, and we will be doing the security for them. And then we'll coordinate with the city as we move on from there, and we have open bed space and we can actually have a place to move people. That's really the hang up right now, is where do we put people, but private property, those rules don't apply, so we're starting there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff. Yes, we have another announcement out of our Health and Human Services Department. We have Enrique Arreola for a brief comment.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, members of the board and the public. My name is Enrique Arreola, Deputy Director for Health and Human Services Agency, Community Service and Workforce Development. I have some very exciting news I'd like to share with you and the public. The governor has allocated an investment of approximately $30 million for rehabilitation projects benefiting all of the migrant centers statewide. Approximately a month and a half ago, we submitted a request in the amount of $2.1 million. And I'm excited to inform you the State Housing and Community Development Office of Migrant Services has approved an allocation of $2.3 million. Now, this is a big deal, especially for the 67 migrant farm worker families that travel long distances to work here in San Benito County. These funds will be used to rehabilitate all of the 67 migrant center houses, including the replacement of the roofs, interior and exterior painting, rehabilitation of the laundry facilities, rehabilitation of the kitchen, high-speed internet, and other minor yet valuable projects. The State Housing and Community Development and the Governor's Office will be making their announcement of these funds and the awards through a press conference here at the San Benito County Migrant Center on Tuesday, November the 16th at 9:30 a.m. I hope you can join us at this press conference, and there'll be more information to come. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah, thank you, Enrique. Thanks for your hard work, as well as Tracy and the team. We have another announcement out of administration. Gracie Rodriguez, analyst.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Board Supervisors, and community. I would just like to inform the board that we have created a webpage on our county website in regards to roads and bridges. We're slowly adding more information as it comes across. And then second announcement, we just wanted to inform the community that we have concluded the memorial, and we'd like to thank everyone that was involved in making that possible. Community members who had a flag embroidered, we please ask that you come to the administration office to pick that up or call the administration office to set up a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Gracie. And that first item was a request from your board about addressing the road links. So thank you to the team for working on that. I did want to add a couple more items or comments to the board. We will be soon coming back to your board with a PIO, a new spec. We'll be going out to recruitment soon, as soon as we get that done. So you'll be seeing that coming to your board soon. We really need to have a PIO full-time, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done on that side. So we'll be bringing that back to your board. I've also been requested from Joe Paul Gonzalez that we have a hard stop and on item number 2. It's going to be really close. I think we'll be right about there at 10 o'clock, excuse me. So item number 2 at 10 o'clock. So we'll be pretty close on target, I think. But just an FYI. As well as I just wanted to highlight future agenda items. I'll be brief. We have a tax sharing agreement, a tax sharing item that'll be coming to your board. There's going to be a pothole filler. We're also working on a Brown Act and charter request from your board when we get a new Board of Supervisors. So the plan is December 15th for that. We'll also be addressing reserve policies either November 9th or the 23rd. Depends. November 9th is getting pretty full. We'll be presenting to your board a timeline on an in-house janitorial service, working on that, as well as a sales tax. So we did get approval to move that forward. So we'll be presenting that to your board soon. The plan is November 9th. We also will have the nonprofit agenda item coming to your board November 9th. We have a bonding capacity item that your board had requested, and that's November 9th as well, along with lobbyist contract, ARPA funding, landfill, town hall. There was a meeting that we had that we're going to be looking at doing a town hall in Sequa in early springtime, I believe it is. I believe when it gets finalized, it'll be in May, but that's the projection. So just an FYI, you'll be seeing that in the beginning of 2022, as well as there's a lot of other items, but we've got a lot of work. Those are the requests from your board. We just want to make sure that the board is updated, that we are working on them, and they'll be coming back to your board. That's all the announcements that we have, Madam Chair.
Sounds like you guys have been busy. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to board announcements. So who would like to go first?
Don't matter to me.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So yeah, just real quick, thank you. I didn't want to interrupt Enrique, but just very, very exciting news on the migrant housing and the $2.3 million from the state. That's a big victory. So really congratulations to the staff and to our community on that, and to our migrant families who are going to benefit from that. And thank you to staff for the update on all these really, really important items. And we have a new board here, and we have a lot of things we want to get done. I think we can all agree on that. And so I think this is another sign of just we're really moving forward as a community. And I appreciate all the work staff's doing to help us do that. As far as my announcements, I've had continued concerns. I've talked with staff about it. I appreciate the collaboration from staff and RMA on some of the parking issues, semi-truck parking issues on Prescott Road between Anzar High School and San Juan Bautista. So I know staff is aware of it. I've met with our new CHP commander. I don't know if everybody knows, but we have a new CHP commander in the area, Phil Cooper. Very nice guy, and I reached out to him, and we sat down and had some coffee last week, and we talked about some of these issues, and CHP has been very responsive to this parking issue and was very open to listening to my concerns about back road traffic in San Juan Bautista area in particular, and enforcement on 156 and Highway 25. I've made it clear that I felt like over the years there just hasn't been a lot of it. They don't have a lot of staffing like a lot of government agencies. Most people don't realize maybe they only have 2 CHP officers for both counties at nighttime, and then 4 during the day per each shift. So that can explain why you maybe don't see as much enforcement. But they are aware of the concern, and I appreciated Phil Cooper's time on that. He also did bring up they'd be open to partnering with the county if we want to pursue grants, for instance, for CHP traffic enforcement. And so I told him I would let staff know about that as well. As far as other issues, I've had a lot of residents concerned, especially in my side of the county, about the bettable area construction, and I've talked to staff about that. And so just so it's clear that it's a seasonal farm stand that is currently being constructed. And so basically with a seasonal farm stand, there are very specific rules you have to follow. And so I've just made staff aware that, let's make sure that they're following those rules going forward as far as what's allowed to be sold there and whatnot. You can only sell products that are grown on the property. So if anybody has any questions about that, though, please feel free to reach out to me on that or anything else. And then just want to encourage residents to get the flu shot. It's especially important this year with COVID and the risks of severe reactions if you happen to get both. And also just really important to minimize the impacts to our already drained healthcare system here locally. So really want to encourage everyone to get the flu shot. Those are widely available, and the county's, I believe, offering a flu clinic coming up here, and I know our employees have access to the flu shots as well. And then the storms that recently hit, I just wanted to reiterate the complaint that we heard about the detention pond. I did listen to the residents' concerns about that and have talked to staff about that, and I'll be staying on top of that issue, even though we don't currently have a supervisor in that district. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just piggybacking on the roads. I recently, yesterday, drove on Best Road and check it out, and it's an amazing improvement. It's a goal for us on all county roads. But anyway, it's great to have that done. And again, just a reminder that the monies paid for that repaving comes from the enterprise fund, which comes from the landfill. So great to have that done. I checked in with Jason Rosa this morning, who is our Public Works Superintendent and Supervisor, and got an update. I was just curious whether there was much storm damage. Obviously, we got a lot of rain yesterday. At least in my district, southern San Benito County, it was not quite as much rain as we went south. So other than a few trees and some rocks and debris like that, not too terribly bad. But while I was talking to Jason, just quick update, we are, if you recall, we allocated $500,000 each to Granite Rock and Don Chapin several months ago to deal with roads throughout the county. Some of the Don Chapin money was shifted to Granite Rock, and we are actually just finishing up the monies that we still have remaining from those allocations, and currently they are working on Lone Tree Road, which is in great need of getting dealt with. So anyway, once they finish up on Lone Tree, that's pretty much will be finishing up that contract. Also, in my district, continue need to finish up some of the pothole work on Panoche. It seems like it is an ongoing effort, as well as dealing with New Idria Road. But we continue to be stretched very thin internally, just in terms of manpower, but that is still something we'll be working on. Other things that are particularly important in my district, water, the drought and water issues are, of course, a huge issue throughout our state. But we have local issues with Stonegate some additional issues we're dealing with there. And I thank the county staff for being on top of it. And also I'm talking to the Tres Pinas and the Tres Pinas Water District. And they have some major infrastructure issues that they've been dealing with for years. There's some possibilities of Stonegate and Tres Pinas Water District working together. They're looking at some things. There's also some possibilities of Sunny Slope Water possibly being brought into the mix. And there may be, I know we're going to be looking at this with ARPA funds, but there may be an area where we want to take a look at some parts of the funding to deal with water and to deal with water infrastructure issues in the county. Just a couple other quick things, other than the ad hocs, et cetera, that I know we'll be getting into later. I had a meeting with the superintendent of the high school, Sean Tenenbaum. I know who's meeting with probably everyone up here, as well as others within the community. They've done amazing things at that high school, but it is a very large high school, and there's recognition, and there's been recognition for a long time that we really need to seriously look at a second high school. So I met with Sean on that, and I know the community is going to be involved in that discussion going forward, but that's going to be a huge thing for our community that we're going to have to deal with. Also, like everyone else up here, met with our lobbyist, Michelle Rubalcava. We've already had, one success with the money that we got for the park, $750,000, but we as a board and county staff are meeting with Michelle to see what other things that we can try to tap into with the state, because I think they continue to have funds up there, and there's hope that we can tap into something for the next budget year, and we'll be looking at that very closely. And I know we will be looking at extending the contract with Michelle and her firm, I think at the next meeting. And then just lastly, I'll just remind everyone that I have an opening on the Community Action Board. So if anyone is interested from District 4, please let me know. And I'll just remind everyone, I might mention this in ad hoc as well. Tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock at Ridgemark, we have a LAFCO joint session that's going to include both city councils, Hollister, San Juan Bautista, as well as the entire Board of Supervisors, as well as the LAFCO board, and it will be a joint session, study session, to get more information on what LAFCO is all about. That's all I have. Thank you.
Supervisor Hernandez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate you mentioning LAFCO, Supervisor Tiffany, because I was a little confused at the dynamics, because I didn't know if we can, because technically we have two board members on that committee, and I didn't know if there would be a Brown Act issue, but it sounds like it's supposed to be all in attendance. If that's the case, then I'll definitely be there. But my updates are so basically it's going to be at the end where we talk about the committees. So I'll skip the broadband and tourism. I'll save it for that conversation. But yeah, I received an email from a resident very concerned about Santana Ranch. They actually received some pictures that showed flooding. You know, obviously it was a really strong rain that we had these last couple of days. So I'm not sure if those are applicable to, you know, because of the amount of rain, or because really that Santana Ranch project maybe hasn't addressed the land to make sure that we don't have that kind of impacts as far as our other residents and stuff. So I don't know well enough. I'd like to have a discussion about that. I'm yet to be having, so on a separate topic, I'm going to be having a meeting with Clay Kemp. I guess we're supposed to work on a work group for the area agency master plan. And then my COG meeting we just had recently, it was actually a pretty short meeting, but the thing that stood out is it looks like we possibly will be in good position for the CAL grant, for a beautification grant of 25 between Sunny Slope and Santana Road. So look for that. And then I also met with the lobbyists. My basic sentiment, because the whole purpose of the meeting was for the lobbyists to get input from the Board of Supervisors as far as what needs we see for our community. And the thing that stood out to me has been always is the need for ongoing development, economic development support. Funding from the state is nice, but I would say the biggest request is really simplifying the process when it comes to regulations. I know one item's going to be on the agenda right now that's going to speak about that, but we basically need to address the unfunded mandates as an ongoing issue. At the end of the day, these unfunded mandates create expectations from our local county without the funds to be able to support them. So, you know, I think that's part of the reason why the motivation, even for the charter county conversation. So if there's a way for us to address that, I mean, I know that when SEIU, with the mention of the needs that they have, I would love to have more conversations about addressing those needs, but I think the unfunded mandates is what would give us the flexibility with our budget to be able to address these issues as an opportunity. So, and then the last thing I wanted to mention, it's a little bit of frustration of mine, is I keep seeing agenda items basically where you have presentations coming in at the last second. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It kind of creates this lack of trust element because this is consistently happening. These presentations need to be not only transparent to us as a board, right? We need to have the information so that we prepare for this meeting, but it's also because it needs to be transparent to the public. They should know what we're talking about, and they should have that information way ahead of time to make sure that they have, trust is a huge issue in our county, and I would say across the state. If we're going to develop a stronger trust, then we have to be more transparent, and I'm not seeing it right now. That's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to kind of more address the question of what exactly can be shared during this time frame for board announcements. And so I know that there's been some questions have been raised. I received a correspondence by mail that was actually questioning what we as supervisors can share and if we're actually addressing things that aren't on the agenda. So Ray and Barbara, I'll go ahead and give you a copy of the correspondence I received so that we can have clarification. But it's probably something we need to address at a future meeting.
Yeah, if
Okay.
you can do that, and then we can agendize that and discuss that openly.
Okay, all right. Nothing further. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the next item. So that would be public hearing. So that'd be item number 1, research management, but it looked.
I think we should maybe
Oh.
consider putting a pause for a few minutes until.
Oh, yes. Okay,
Let's take a recess, Madam Chair, and
quick
then
break
we'll
then.
work on that.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm just right behind them, so.
Yes.